Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. Today we are talking about the SUQQU fall collection for 2022. This is a huge collection and one of the best things about it is that it has permanent and limited edition items. We're going to talk about the collection. We're going to talk about how to get the items, when and where and so forth while we're doing some demos. But first, let's start off with some swatches. These items I'm swatching here, I received in PR. I did place a pre-order for additional items that I will be putting up as soon as I get them. This is one of the new permanent eyeshadow quads, and this is shade number 11 or quad number 11. So these top two shades on the top, these are going to be kind of like your light sheer shades. And you can see that this is really more of a scattered starlight topper. It looks a little taupe in here. It really acts more as a neutralizer in my opinion. I'm going to do 2 layers of this blue here so you can see it looks more powder blue in the pan, but you can see on the skin, it really looks more gray and just a touch of blue in there. And then we have kind of this magenta color and this matte brown. So here's the magenta and here's the brown. The brown's matte. This is going to be more of a satin. And I mean, they're just stunning colors. So I think this quad is really pretty. Excuse me, I'm just bumping into everything. I need to clean in here. But then we also have one of the new Pure Color blushes. They have released 2 Pure Color blushes and they're both limited edition. This is 133. So this is going to be the left, the middle, and the right. And the right side is a highlighter, so you can see you've got more shimmer, but this isn't a flat matte or anything either. It's kind of a satin matte all the way to a shimmer. And putting it in between, you have a little bit of that, you know, that mixture, that luminosity there. So really beautiful. You can use this. This works as a highlighter on deeper skin tones or more as a blush on more fair skin tones. And then they have also released 3 new Nuance liquid eyeliners. This shade here is 106. And you can see it looks pink here. It's kind of a rosy shade, but it actually is a little bit more of a rosy taupe. There's a little bit of a taupe vibe in there. And this is actually what I have on my lids right now. I'm not wearing the eyeshadow. I have a little bit of the brown eyeshadow as liner, but the actual color on my lids is this. And then I have this topper on here, and you'll see that in the last demo. And then the other item I received is the lipstick. They have a bunch of new lipsticks. There are 5 new shades. 2 of them are permanent, 3 are limited edition. This is one of the permanent shades. This is number 13. These are the sheer mattes. So you can see the sheer layer versus the built up layer. And it's a really beautiful, I love this formula because it is sheer and lightweight. And this is a pink with some peach in there. It's more of a peachy pink. I think it's just a really beautiful color. And you can see as this dries, it now looks a bit more taupe than it did when it was wet. When it was wet, it looked a little bit rosier, but it really dries down and has a little bit more of that taupe vibe to it. So let's go ahead and talk about the collection, where and how to get it, and some details of these products while we go through some demos of these so you can see everything in action. And again, this will just be part 1 of the SUQQU fall collection because I did place a pre-order for a lot of other items that will hopefully arrive relatively soon. So this fall collection is launching July 21st at Selfridges. And you can pre-order from now through until then. And you can pre-order at the Selfridges SUQQU counter in store. And you can do that by emailing suqqqu.london@eqpuk. Place your order and they can reserve those items. They won't actually charge you until the day of the launch, and that's when they ship them out. So that is definitely the way I would recommend going, especially if there are multiple items that you are looking at purchasing. Because SUQQU launches, if you're not familiar with them, there are those crazy launches where everything sells out very quickly and you never know exactly what time things are launching. So you're going to be like stalking the website and so forth while things are popping up. It reminds me of old times with Black Friday, when you used to go in the store like at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning to get the good deals, and you'd have to, you never really knew, you know, if things were going to be there or not like now when we have so much online shopping. So that's kind of what they remind me of. But anyway, July 21st for Selfridges, and again, it does go kind of crazy. If you are purchasing, I believe it's 125 pounds. If I'm wrong, I'll correct that above here. 125 pounds. If you spend more than that, you do get free shipping from the Selfridges counter. So if you're buying multiple things, this is definitely the way to go. If you are looking for 1 or 2 items and you do not have the Selfridges yearly shipping, so you don't want to, you know, pay for that online, then you might want to wait until it launches at Harrods and Harrods, Cult Beauty, and Liberty London. Harrods, you're still going to have a shipping charge. So I would recommend, if you're looking for 1 or 2 things, looking at Liberty London and Cult Beauty. Liberty London has the price of the shipping already built into the product price. You're not going to be paying like a full $30, you know, US dollars in order to ship the item. They kind of give you like a percentage, you know, it's increased by a percentage in order to ship that item. So perhaps your lipstick might be $5 more expensive or something, and you get the essentially free shipping then. So that's how Liberty works. Cult Beauty, I've noticed some of the products are the same price as they are at Selfridges, and some of them have been more expensive, but you can get free shipping there as well. The only issue with Harrods, Cult Beauty, and Liberty is they don't always have all of the items. So if there's something in particular you really must have, Selfridges is really going to be your best place to get it. So those are kind of the ways you can get it. Again, Selfridges, July 21st, August 5th for Harrods, Cult Beauty, and Liberty London. So let's talk a little bit about what is coming out in this collection. There are 2 highlighter sticks that are coming out. There's one that looks like a rosy pink and a light green. It's not going to be green on the face. These are both going to be, you know, highlighters that give you that wet skin look, that glass skin look without any shimmer or glitter. They're limited edition. They will most likely go very quickly. They are not the same as the highlighter sticks that came out a few years ago. These are a new formula, and I'm very interested, so I did order both of those. Then we also have 4 eyeshadow quads. 3 of those are permanent. 1 of those is limited edition. So we have numbers 9, 10, and 11 are new permanent quads. 11 is what I have here. And then 117 is your limited edition eyeshadow quad. So I did order that one. It looks stunning. I cannot wait to get that. But one thing to note about these quads, as I mentioned, your top 2 shades are always going to be more sheer. Then your bottom left is typically going to be some sort of satin shade, something more pigmented. And your bottom right is always going to be a deep matte. And that matte has a little bit more of a putty-like texture than the others. So I love the SUQQU eyeshadow formulas. These are really buildable. As you could see when I swatched the blue shade, you can really build up that color, whether you use a brush or your fingers. You can see in these demos, I've used both, so you can kind of get an idea of how they apply with different methods. Now, in addition to the eyeshadow quads, there are also 4 blushes that are launching. Now, SUQQU has 2 different blush formulas. There's the melting powder blush, and those are going to be more of a creamy powder that melts into your skin. There's a little bit of translucency with the color. They're not shimmery or anything like that. There's no glitter, but it really gives you this like sheen to your skin where that blush is. It's really a beautiful formula. That's their newest formula. They are adding 2 new permanent shades to this collection, shades 9 and 10. And then they also have the Pure Color blushes, which were their blushes that were out before the melting powder came out. These are a gradient with a highlighter, and they have 2 limited edition shades here. So I have a 133 here that was gifted to me, and you can see that this is kind of like this orangey yellow shade that blends into a soft golden highlighter. These are gorgeous. If you're looking for a soft sheer wash of color, this is it. That kind of ombre effect really makes this formula very buildable. You have so many different ways to build up the color depending on how you'd like to go into the palette versus, you know, how you want to mix the different shades in there. They're just very, very versatile. So there are 2 shades, 133, I have 132, actually looks a lot like a previous shade that I've seen in the past. I don't have that one, but you can see that it's kind of this vibrant red that fades to this yellow gold. So I think that's really, really beautiful. And I did order that. So can't wait. And I did order the melting powder blushes as well. So on top of that, there are also going to be 3 new liquid eyeliners. I love the Nuance eyeliners. These are felt tip. They're very easy to use. They're one of the best liquid eyeliner formulas in my opinion. The 3 shades that have come out are limited edition and they're all on the lighter side. I actually have found, and you can see through the demos, that I prefer using them kind of like as a liquid eyeshadow or on their own with maybe just like a topper or something very soft and light. These are very soft, light shades of the liquid eyeliners. So putting them with more vibrant colors on the lids, it's a little bit harder to see them. And I believe that's true for the other colors as well. And if you do want to use them on top of something vibrant, maybe go something like really dark and use this a little bit more as that reverse eyeliner trend where you are lightening that area instead. So that's a great use for these as well. But the formula works really well as liquid eyeshadow as well. It goes on easily. Since it is technically an eyeliner, you don't have a ton of playtime there, but it smudges out beautifully. You can use your finger or a brush and they last all day without any creasing. So really a great product. And again, I have shade 106. Moving on, there are going to be 3 nail polishes that we can't get here in the US, so I don't have those, but those look very nice. And then there are 5 lipsticks. Now, if you're not familiar with the sheer matte lipsticks from SUQQU, as you saw with me swatching, they have a clear plastic cap on them. That's how it comes. And then if you would like to purchase a cap separately, there are these black caps that you can purchase separately to go on top instead. So then you can remove and discard the clear lid if you'd like, but they've done this so that essentially the clear lid, it's kind of a thicker, more heavy duty clear lid. So you can keep that, you can keep your lipsticks with those on there. So if you have a black lid, you could use one black lid for all of your lipsticks, and whichever one you're like carrying in your purse or something, you would put the lid on that one for that day, but you still have the clear lid to keep everything fresh inside. So that's kind of their thought process behind that. I personally like to have the black lids on the lipsticks because I think it's just more of a showpiece. It feels more complete to me. So as I mentioned, there are 5 lipstick shades. 13 and 14 are 2 new permanent shades, and then there are 3 limited edition shades. So with all the lipstick launches that are coming out, I did decide to pass on additional lipsticks, but they have really beautiful colors. The last limited edition shade is an orange that is supposed to be deeper in color than the one that came out with SUQQU Summer. So I think it's a really beautiful shade. If you've been looking for an orange, this might be a good one for you. All right, so let's go through some comparisons. Again, this is the number 11 quad. And let's start off actually with this blue shade. And I feel like the brown and the topper, those, you know, you can get those other places. The more special shades are gonna be this blue gray and this more magenta shade. So we're gonna start off with this. This is the Givenchy 9.03 palette. So let's look at this one. Oh, I didn't pick up much. Here we go. Put that right here so you can see how that compares. And you can see that they're different. This is gonna be more vibrant, a little bit more pink. This is more muted, but they still are fairly similar. This is the SUQQU holiday palette that came out a couple of years ago. Let's take a look at this shade here. And we're gonna put this right next to it here. You can see this is gonna be more sheer. Similar shade though. It looks a little bit more red when you hit the light the right way. It gives it a little bit more warmth, but overall, I think they're pretty similar in color, but the texture and the finish is different. This is definitely gonna be more sheer. And then my last one, this is actually one of the older SUQQU quads. Before they came out with the signature color eyes, they had designing color eyes. This was number 133, and I love this quad. So we're gonna squeeze this in right here. Look at that. So those are my closest matches for that shade. Now, moving on to the blue, let's take a look at this holiday palette again. Let's go in with this blue. This is gonna be much more pigmented. It is put all the way over here, but you can see it's got a little bit more blue, but it's deeper overall. It's more of like a blue with a touch of charcoal, whereas these are more gray with a touch of dusty blue, in my opinion. So we're gonna take a look at some more SUQQU quads. This is 109, and this was a limited edition one. Let's put that right there. You can see that that's gonna be soft and sheer. And again, notice how that was, this top shade, that's gonna be more of like your glitter shade. And that's kind of how all of these blues are in the other palettes. This here is 105. You can see just looking here at my finger, let me put this right up here at the top. That's just gonna be your scattered starlight. It's a really beautiful shade, but you're not gonna get pigmentation from that really. And then this is 107. This is actually more purple. We're gonna put this right here, but again, it's your scattered starlight. Overall, closest palette I could think of here was the Tom Ford Pretty Baby out of the palettes I have. So we're just gonna go ahead and swatch this whole palette. It's not going to be quite like it. We're gonna go ahead and put it over here on this side. And you can see that this is definitely gonna be more of a purple vibe versus this. Now onto the blush. Again, this is the one that I have. This is 133. We're looking at those swatches here. I don't have a ton of blushes like this. This one here is my closest. This is 127. This was a limited edition one that came out last year, I believe. So these are those three shades. You can see that this one is going to be more orange than the 133. And notice the highlight difference. This is really more of kind of like your white gold with a touch more yellow gold in there versus this, which is definitely going to be much more of that orangey golden glow. And then this here is the Dior 332. And this was a limited edition shade. And you can see that this is definitely much more pigmented, more of a pumpkin orange. This is the SUQQU 102 blush palette. I'm just gonna swatch this highlight shade here in comparison with this. You can see this is gonna be much more golden and it has a bit more of a stronger metallic. That's the closest though. This here is a Chanel Rouge à Lèvres Extra in 814 Beige Imperial. And this is the shade there. So the Chanel is going to be more beige. The SUQQU is, more peachy. And the SUQQU has more pink in it. We have two of the Chanel Rouge Coco Bombs. This is 916 Flirty Coral. We're going to put that below it. You can see that's going to be much more of an orangey shade. This is also a lot more sheer. And this one here is 918 My Rose. Let's put that right next to it. And you can see that's going to be rosier. It's kind of a mix of the two, but again, that's going to be a lot more sheer also. And that's actually going to be it for my lipstick comparisons because I don't have a shade quite like that. I mean, honestly, I typically stick to cooler tones or more neutrals. So this shade is like, it's really beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I'm really happy they sent me this because it's something that I typically don't gravitate towards, but I love the color. So I unfortunately don't have any other comparisons there. Everything else I have is either too warm or too rosy. And I think it's really pretty. As for the eyeliner, I don't have anything like that. That is unique to me, but let's look at a liquid eyeshadow. The closest liquid eyeshadow I could think of is this. This is number 8 from Armani, and I believe it's called Flannel. This is gonna be more sheer. Here it is. You can see it's very, very light, very, very sheer. The tones though actually seem very similar to me. This is also, it's getting older. I should probably toss this one. So you might get a little more pigment from a fresher bottle, but you're still nowhere quite as pigmented as the SUQQU. And just a couple of the liquid Chanel. This is 32 Vastness. These are the Ombre Premier Locks. So here's Vastness. You can see that's gonna be much deeper. This is it has mauve with a touch of bronze or brown, and this is 26 Quartz Rose, which is also not going to quite match. You can see this is gonna be warmer, got a little bit peachier vibe to it. But those are kind of the closest shades I have to this rosy eyeliner. So I hope this video has been helpful. And again, this is part 1 of the fall collection, but as soon as I receive my order for the other items, I will definitely get it up as soon as possible. So if you are interested in participating in the launch, hopefully I can get those swatches up prior to the launch, or at least prior to the August 5th launch. So again, Selfridges, July 21st, August 5th for Harrods, Liberty London, and Cult Beauty. And thank you so much for tuning in, and definitely let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll see you very soon. Have a great day.